Professor Dershowitz, the idea of this gag order, of course, Trump is misstating the nature of it. It's not just on him. And you don't have an automatic right to badmouth the judge in your trial whenever you want, wherever you want. What do you make of the gag and the move to prosecute in New York City?
Well, first of all, I think the biggest scandal is that the first trial of a former president is not on television. I don't want to hear about the trial through Fox and through CNN.
Yeah.
If to CNN, this is the most serious case since the Lincoln assassination on videotape. If you listen to Fox, there's nothing to the case at all. And as you said in your brilliant opening monologue, there's something to the case, but not enough to have brought a criminal prosecution. And so we should see it on television. You know, in the OJ case, there was a poll that showed that people who saw it on television were less surprised at the verdict than people who heard about it through Jeffrey Tubman's biased reporting or CNN's biased reporting. So we, the American public, have a right to see this trial. We should see it. As far as the gag order is concerned, let's remember the gag order is a genre of prior restraint. Prior restraint is anathema to the First Amendment. There should be no prior restraint except in the most extraordinary situations. And it shouldn't apply to bad-mouthing witnesses. And it shouldn't apply to complaining about the daughter. You may be right that there's nothing to the daughter's case, but he has the right to bring to the American public the claim that the daughter might profit from her father's rulings. And so I'm in favor of openness. I'm in favor of it being on television. Let everybody speak. Let the public judge. And I think it will go down in history as a perversion of justice. But we won't know it unless we see it, because if you see it on CNN or read about it in the New York Times, this is the fairest trial that has ever been conducted, and there's nothing wrong with it at all. And we're entitled to more than that. So let's put it on television. Let's eliminate gag orders in general, except in the most extraordinary cases, and let the First Amendment prevail. That's what I'm in favor of. Total free speech, the marketplace of ideas.
I agree. I am for more speech, not less, even though it's uncomfortable, even though you hear a lot of ugly things. But I believe the ugly and the extreme make it that much easier for better ideas to win. On the gag should have been put on all parties. With the same rules. But I'm saying if he had done that, then it would have been easier to justify. Just putting it on Trump against what he doesn't like to hear about the judge. But in any other case, Alan, if you had a client who was bad-mouthing the judge, what do you think would happen?
Well, he would be in trouble, and I would be opposing it. In a normal case, the ACLU would be on my side. But who's heard of the ACLU lately? The Anti-Civil Liberties Union, which no longer has to do with Trump. And so they're not here. I remember having cases with jurors in which I joined with the ACLU, and we opposed. Yes. And those days are gone forever. Thank God there is an organization, which is doing a little bit of work on the First Amendment. Not enough, in my view. Well,
we gotta fight that fight because there's censorship all around us. Brother West, it is good to see you. It's been a minute. I couldn't catch you when you were up at Columbia. I want to talk to you guys about that. Please stay with me through the break. I hope that doesn't mess up Good Shabbos for you, Professor. But please stay through the break.
I stay up late. I want to talk about Columbia. I want to talk about
good. So we'll stay through the break. But let me just ask Cornel West quickly here. What did you make of Stephen A. Smith, whom I love, so be careful, saying Donald Trump now has a connection to the black vote that Democrats don't have, because he is saying, look, I'm like you. I'm getting prosecuted for bad reason just because the system can. I get it now. There's a two-tiered justice system. Vote for me. Do you believe that Brother Trump now has a connection to the black reality that will make him a better president for people of color, Cornel West?
Well, Trump has always had a certain connection to the Mike Tysons and Don Kings because he's always been tied to certain black folk in entertainment, and he's been one of the lords of entertainment. But I want to say this, though, brother, that I think we're living in a Malcolm X moment where chickens are coming home to roost, where the greedy and the wealthy and the powerful now have to be rendered in some way accountable and responsible and answerable. And that's true not just for Trump. He deserves a fair trial. He deserves his rights protected. But we know he's said and done so many things with no accountability at all, like certain nations that we can talk about. Just say anything, do anything, get away with it, and then try to manipulate the public or lie and hide whatever crimes they may have done. We're reaching a point now where there's such a spiritual meltdown and there is a moral breakdown where it is unclear whether even the legal system itself, when it proceeds, can produce a result without a civil war breaking out. Now, that's a sign of meltdown, which is spiritual and moral, but it has political consequences because why? Because you still got poor people out here who's struggling. You got mass incarceration who's struggling. And we're going to get to the genocide in Gaza in a minute in relation to Colombia. I know Brother Dershowitz wants to get to that, and I want to get to that too. But it's very important that we put this in a larger context. This is not just about Trump. This is about someone who has been saying things and getting away with things with no accountability whatsoever, and other people come and hide and conceal his lies or abet his lies, you see.
Right. Listen, I'm with you, brother. The question is what the consequence should be. And if you start prosecuting people because, you know, you don't like them and that's the level of accountability, it gets slippery. Let's take a break. We'll come back and continue the conversation and look at what's going on at Columbia University and what it means for how America is responding to the Middle East. Gentlemen, I love you. Thank you for being with me, especially on a Friday night. We'll be right back. Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.